prayed about it. And so my wife and I both prayed about it. And I'm telling you, I heard God say it. I heard God say, write out $10,000 check, write it out. And I thought, well, I'm sick in this bed. Now my wife, I'm going to tell you, if she's here tonight, I tell you, she knows the truth. I just give everything away. She don't let me carry money much because I just give it away. I was getting on a plane the other day and she was letting me out the airport. She said, how much cash you got? I said, I got enough. I got my American Express card. She said, how much cash you got? I said, I got enough. She said, how much? I had $2. She gave me $20. She said, please don't give it to anybody. And I just give everything away. So I thought, I'm sick and I want to give $10,000. But I know my wife is the level-headed one. And so I said, honey, would you please pray and ask God what He'd have us to give? And I just knew that she was down in the $2,500 range. She come back in the room about an hour later. She said, I've been praying and said, I think God wants us to give $10,000. I said, you kidding? So we wrote a $10,000 check. Now let me preface this. When you hear people talk about giving large amounts, you automatically assume they have large amounts left over.
Yeah. Come on.
It would blow your mind if you knew the treasury of our church.
Come on.
It makes some of our board members so mad when I tell them that one thing this church would never split over, and that's a treasury. Because we don't have one. We spend it for the work of God. When the Antichrist comes and takes over our bank account, he's going to be disappointed in us. So you say 10,000, y'all say, yeah, but what do you got left over? Maybe a few hundred on some weeks. But about 2 weeks later, I went to the church. My wife and I went to pray one Saturday morning. Before I went to the auditorium to pray, I went and checked. I got a little mailbox there in the office. And I opened up my little mailbox, and there was a letter in there addressed to me that had come in the mail from a complete stranger. A complete stranger. A non-apostolic person. Who simply said, I heard you preach the other night. I believe in what you do. Would you please accept my offering as a way of saying thank you?
Come on.
It was a cashier's check for $10,000. God does not give us more for us to increase our level of living.
Yes, sir.
But God gives us more so we can increase our level of giving. One more, and I'm going to go back to this scripture. It works. Wednesday night, my daughter called me. Ken Garrison was at our church. Ken is a good Methodist boy. Man. He's a good Methodist man. Whose 2 daughters go to our church. Ken visits occasionally. Ken has let me know he doesn't want a Bible study and he doesn't want to be baptized. He's let me know he's very much happy in his church. He has let me know that. Wednesday night, my daughter called me. She said, Dad, Ken Garrison's here and wants to see you. I met him in the prayer room. He was praying in the prayer room. I went over and I tapped him on the shoulder. He got up and tears were running down his face. He said, Reverend Carpenter, he said, I don't know what came over me the other night. He said, but I began to think about how good this church is to my daughters. He reached in his pocket. He handed me a check for $10,000. And he said, I just felt led to bring this to you. Let me tell you something, friend. We're going to get the work done. We're going to get the job done. But it's got to start with you. And it's got to start with you and you and the people in the gap and the people in this area, Brother Hall. We've got to see ourselves. I'm not going to give to get. I'm going to give to promote the kingdom. So if you work at McDonald's, or if you work in a factory, or if you babysit, just give God. Well, I promise promise I'm going to try to read a couple scriptures, and there's a miracle in this house tonight.
Yes, yeah. Come on. Come on.
There is enough in this house tonight to easily finish what you want, man of God, to finish. Everybody else has their parking lot paved. Why shouldn't we?
That's right.
Amen.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's so true.
Everybody else has a nice parking lot. Would you give me one reason why we should?
That's right.
The hospital does, the restaurants does. I don't know, I've not looked anywhere near close enough, but I'd say the old strip bars do too.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
There's a miracle in this house tonight. There's a miracle in this house tonight.
Thank you.
You see, them people in the New Testament, pastor was finding it hard to let go of the old and reach up for the new. So they loved salvation by water and by spirit, but they still were hooked into that old Levitical way of doing things.
Yes.
And Paul addressed it in Hebrews chapter 6 and verse number 20. Paul said it. He said, whether the forerunner is for us entered as heaven, even Jesus, made a high priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. That's where when I saw this, whoever mailed me that letter, I guarantee you the devil will never have him mail me another letter. Because when I stumbled upon, when we tithe, we're not tithing under the Levitical priesthood. We are not tithing under the Mosaic priesthood.
Right. That's right.
We are tithing as did our father Abraham under the Melchizedek priesthood.
Yes.
Right.
And then verse 7 begin, chapter 7, verse 1. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him, to whom also Abraham gave a tenth part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made, Melchizedek, made like unto the Son of God, abideth a priest continually. Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave. There's his. This is the difference. Gave the tenth of the spoil. And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi,